And I think, in my honest opinion, it's a start towards making Star Wars Battlefront good again. Um, I think it's kind of like a fourth quarter comeback to try and get some fans and win them back over. I think factoring in the leak of the instant action shows the direction that EA and DICE are trying to get back into with this game. Whether it's going to work or not, I don't really know. But it has to be talked about in the impression of this DLC, because I think this DLC is more than just a DLC. It's EA pretty much telling their fans, look, we know we messed up with releasing this game the way that it was, because it's pretty much gospel, the fact that EA said that they released this game and cut out instant action or offline mode or single player mode to try and match the success of The Force Awakens, pretty much to ride its coattail after its subsequent release December 18th. Hence why you had the Jakku DLC and all that stuff. With that being said, I think, like I mentioned in one of my videos way back, it was either November or December, I mentioned this, that EA's attempts to lower the price of the game, to lower the price of the season pass, to do special deals, and to have all these community events is a way of them saying, look, we know we messed up. Here's this in which we can work on. Here's that in which we can work on. You know, here's some DLC. We're going to listen to you. One thing I do give them credit for is the fact that they have listened to the fans. They have listened to people in the community complaining about the lack of content, the lack of maps. That's not to say that they're perfect. There's still some things that are with this new add-on, with this new iteration of Battlefront. A lot of fans feel that this game is not where it should be, and I think it came to a head with the Outer Rim DLC when you had a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people in the gaming community voice their concerns and voice their anger and frustration that the two DLC characters, Nien Nunb, who came out and were the same skins that they were in the game already. They kind of gave the accusation of them being lazy, and it really rubbed people the wrong way. So you have this new DLC that comes out, and I think 12 hours to 24 hours afterwards, you have the news out of instant action being leaked. So as I mentioned, I decided to, take a little bit more time and look at the consequences of fans' reactions to the Outer Rim DLC and this game from November 18th to about February. And I said in my video, when this thing gets good again, if I see an effort presented by EA to make the game better, I'll come back and I'll say it. I'll change my point of view, and, I'll change my tone. With that being said, I don't apologize at all for my previous responses to this game, because in my feeling, they were justified. You have a game, it's bare-boned, and because of it being bare-boned, you had a DLC that cost almost the price of another game, and provided maps and content that honestly should have came with the game to begin with. Because that didn't happen, you have an ABC effect. You have a downward spiral of fans that are separated in the community, fans who have turned their backs to this game because it's missing content that should have been in the game to begin with. So because of that, you have this. So this is just a little bit of the backstory and the impression that I have of this Bespin DLC. You can't mention this Bespin DLC without mentioning where we have come to this point. Now, I think that all this stuff was a necessary evil. I think that having fans be as loudly voiced as they were, to be the squeaks in the door, was necessary in order to get to trying to make either Battlefront still a playable game to satisfy fans, and to make the future iterations of this reboot to be better. Without it, you have a plain game that is just being made without people listening. So what are the positives that came out of this type of situation? You know, there has to be some positives that come out of listening to fans who complain about a game or who voice their concerns or everything. One thing you got is that as the months have drawn on, you do have evidence. You have evidence now that DICE is listening to the fans. DICE is listening to the concerns of what fans have, and they're implementing that towards the new game, Battlefront 2, which is coming out next year. You also have certain implementations that have been constructed for this game right now. Now, you have players that can roll, you have upgrades to team matches, different modes that's been altered and changed, Fighter Squadron has been changed. So you see a plus. The bigger plus that you have is instant action. As I mentioned in my video yesterday, you have instant action mode now, which is a good piece of evidence that shows that EA is listening to the fans. You know, will it be the instant action of Battlefront 1 and 2? No. Will it be, you know, as dynamic as it is? Maybe. I don't know. You know, maybe they're going to incorporate more stuff in it. Maybe we're going to incorporate the DLC, offline modes, and everything like that. I think the problem is, and the most annoying thing about it is that they have this type of coy vagueness about them, in which a lot of fans get irritated with, because they want to know and they want to have the expression of having confirmation. So what the leak did was give you confirmation that this game is heading in the right direction. So now that you know that this game is heading in somewhat of a right direction, now you have evidence that you can now sit back and be calm and understand the fact that this is a game that is starting to grow and it's starting to head in the right direction. You have instant action, then after that, hopefully with this Death Star DLC, you have a space battle mode, which all this should have been in the game to begin with. I think one of the biggest lessons that EA or DICE will walk away with this is that fans of Star Wars games have a pedigree. They have a certain demand. They have a need that they want. And you can't just release a $60 game that is bare-boned and expect for people to just take that, pay $50 for a season pass, and go quietly into the night. They're going to be unsatisfied. Star Wars fans want their money's worth. If you expect Star Wars fans to be critical of movies and not be critical of the merchandise that comes out afterwards, you're heavily fooled. And there's requirements that need to be in these games that needs to be done properly. And when they're done properly, you have a happy fan base. When you don't, yeah, what happened in Battlefront. So that's the arcing portion of introducing my statements into this new DLC impression. I think you can't go into this DLC and not pay attention to those factors, because they all lead up to what's being done. Now, the reason why I've said in my other videos I think that this is the DLC that we've been looking for is simply because I feel like this is the DLC that we've been looking for. Now, that's not to say it's perfect. There's still some problems in here, there's some glitches, there's still some situations which people have in regards to what's it called, in regards to the assist system and certain modes like how I would love to stay in sabotage, but if I take one mode where I'm in sabotage and I'm then taking a fire squadron and then Walker assault, it's kind of frustrating. That's one of the problems I have with it.
The Imperials have halted
Now,
the countdown.
going into the DLC portion, you have 5 maps that's been given in this mode, all of which I feel is nice and replicates the movie's location
The objective
of
has
Bespin
been
very well in Empire Strikes Back. Just some nitpicking issues with it, though. I feel like the location where Boba Fett's Slave 1 is kind of inaccurate. I think it was just a single barred door. That was in the movie. But as you see right here, I'm coming up across Luke Skywalker's X-Wing, which is nice. Luke should be, in my honest opinion, Luke Skywalker's X-Wing should be a hero in Fighter Squadron. It's not. Hopefully they include that with some other modes. Who knows? But overall, my game, now that we've gotten from the history of where we got into with this, my impressions of the levels: you have 5 maps which came with the season pass, which I think is awesome. I think the maps are beautiful. I think they've been recreated with great taste and attention to detail.
hostiles in the area.
You know, playing the level in which you know you see Luke and Vader square off in Empire Strikes Back is amazing. The little Easter eggs they have with the carbon chambers is amazing. That's a good aspect. I think it's a step above the Outer Rim DLC, which had only about 4 maps in it and very limited modes in which to play in. I think if they would have had more upgrades and would have had more modes implemented into it, it probably would have been a better effect. But it wasn't, so here we are. You have new skins. The skins in which the soldiers in which you see running around right now were originally with Princess Leia's DLC. Not DLC, Princess Leia's hero spawn. So now you have an upgrade of the Imperial Guards and all that type of stuff. I wish that they would just have the skins like that, and they're not, you know, exclusively held to the hero themselves. But overall, for this Bespin DLC, graphically it looks beautiful. Fighter Squadron looks amazing. They added more players, new cars such as cloud cars. Still don't have the amount of rebel vehicles that we should have, but we'll see in the near future what becomes of that. You know, one thing that I can say, you know, looking at this game, playing it for about 2 days, I think the game feels more fluid. Having played Battlefront 1 and 2 when it came out, I know for a certain fact that it's not the same Battlefront. But I think that now that EA has no other choice but to listen to the fans, we might be getting there. You know, it might be getting to finally having the game that people were looking for when this thing first launched. I just think it shouldn't have taken that long for it to come out the way that it did. But, you know, crying over spoiled milk. Or spilt milk, or whatever that saying is. But this is my impressions of this game. I think that they made a good move implementing these maps in other modes. And hopefully, in the near future, they can, once all the DLC has been released, they can make it more streamlined in order to enjoy all the modes for DLC that you have, instead of just going to separate levels and trying to play that around. You know. But this is where this game is at now, and it's you know, it's an okay game. It's a good game. It's unfortunate that I don't want to say it's a little too late, because you may still have fans still probably will get won over again by this instant action mode that's going to be released. So this Battlefront, I don't know, it could be, I don't think it's out yet. You know, I've seen weirder things happen in games. I've seen gaming communities come back after a while. But when it comes down to this game, it's a lovely thing for most Star Wars fans. I feel like Bespin is the DLC that we've finally been looking for. You know, is it good? Yeah. Is it perfect? No. But I think it's an upgrade above what the Outer Rim was compared to your heroes. You know, you're not playing with 9 Numb or Greedo for whatever reason. Instead, you're playing with Dengar, who is no laughable character at all, and also you get to play as Lando Calrissian, who's voiced by one of Billy Dee Williams, who also voiced his character, reprised his role in Rebels. Dengar is a character that was in The Empire Strikes Back, and his story is expanded upon when you get to see the Clone Wars, and you get to see the new canon comic books that have come out involving Dengar. So he's up there with Boba Fett as a bad character. You know, not as epic as Boba Fett has become, but he's up there, in my opinion. So you have an upgrade of the DLC characters. You have more expansions of the maps and epic landscapes and things such as that. More identical locations and everything such as that. The next DLC will be the Death Star. That's the one in which I feel will be the ultimate DLC that I'm waiting for. I hope to see it. Hope to see it come to fruition. And I hope that they learn a valuable lesson in regards to, you know, in regards to having a game that's released the way that it is, and what the fans are looking for, and how much depth they want in their games. So that's why I feel like this Bespin DLC impression is as it is, because it's more than just a DLC map. It's more so of like EA's response to the fans saying, we're listening to you, this is what we're putting in this game, this is what you got. So that's my impression. I hope you guys see it that way. If you don't see it that way, that's fine. Leave a comment, subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll be back with more videos. Alright guys, take it easy.